Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices, and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Usually at the end of the year, I come out with two final videos. One that's the best games of the year, and these are all sorts of different categories like card games, cooperative games, and things like that. And then I do a top 10 of the year. Well, this year I was thinking, I've reviewed over 100 games this year, and I've played close to 3 times that has come out this year, and I typically cover the ones on my channel that I'm most excited about. However, I do have about 40 unique games that I'm going to be covering over the next 12 days or so. I'm going to put out 10 final year videos coming out here shortly, one after another, of all different categories, top 5 games of all these different categories. Then I'll do a final categorized video that will have some new categories I didn't quite have 5 to put on there, and then I'll do my top 10. So as a gift to you, since I've played this many games and I've had fun doing it, I want to bring 40 new games. So most of these lists will have no crossover, and so bringing these to you to bring attention to games that you might not have known about. Now, in addition to that, as these come out, you can always see the latest one at GameBoyGeek.com/2019. Now, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see them as they come up, but you can always go to GameBoyGeek.com/2019, and as they get released day after day here towards the end of the year, you'll be able to see them, just popping up there as they come up. Also, for each of these videos, I've placed the links of the reviews of each of these in the description of this video below me. So after you've watched this, if you want to learn more about it, you can go directly to the review for each of these games. With all that being said, let's get started with the top 5 cooperative games.
Number 5.
My number 5 is sort of aimed at the mass market, but it does have some gamerness to it. It's called Horrified. In this game, you're cooperatively working together to essentially defeat monsters. There's sort of the universal monsters, the Frankenstein, the Bride, and Dracula, and things like that. And each of the monsters that you use, the Mummy, they all work differently. You defeat them differently. So each game is going to feel a little bit different depending on the monsters that you choose. Some are easier than others. The game is very expandable. And on your turn, you're basically going around, you're collecting these different tokens, and these tokens are going to allow you to do different things like defend yourself instead of getting damaged or defeated by a monster, or you're going to be using them to defeat monsters themselves. But you're going to be trying to figure out where to move to, where to go. We need to go over there and get this, and then bring it over here and do this with this monster, and then do this. And you're cooperatively working together. There's villagers that pop up, and you're trying to make sure that the monsters don't go and damage them too. So sometimes you're trying to drag them along away from the monsters. It's a pretty simple game mechanically. Thematically, it's cool. I think the theme a lot of people will like because they're familiar with those monsters. The mechanisms are pretty simple. You have a handful of small choices on your turn, but you have some meaningful choices to make as well, and working together is always fun. So this is definitely one that if you like sort of standard open information cooperative games, I'd say it's probably definitely in between the heaviness, I'd say, of Pandemic and Forbidden Island. Somewhere in between there is where this one lays for weight of game, and it's Horrified.
Number 4.
Now the next one actually has 2 versions. It's called Similo. There's one called Fables and one called History. Now with either of these, there's one clue giver, and that clue giver is trying to get everyone to essentially remove all of the characters that are out there. So at the end of the game, only the last one standing is the secret character that is selected at the beginning of the game. So how does this work? Well, the clue giver is placing cards face up, either up in vertical, saying, hey, the secret character is similar to this character. Or they're putting it sideways, saying, the secret character is not similar to this. And then based on that, they're going to be removing some. In each round, a new card is placed from the clue giver, but more and more cards have to get removed each round, so it gets harder and harder, till finally at the end, hopefully you have just the last one standing. It's really fun. You can play it either with Fables or with History, or you can mix them by giving clues with History and playing with Fables, or vice versa, playing with Fables, giving clues with the History to sort of mix and match those. And they're going to be coming out with new sets next year as well. This is from Horrible Guild, that's the publisher name, and it is called Similo Fables or Similo History.
Number 3.
The next one is not sort of a tabletop game per se, it's books. It's called Crusoe Crew. This is playing on Van Ryder Games. They had come out with these graphic adventure novels where it's sort of like choose your own adventure books, and they were solo play. Well, in this, there's 4 different characters, and you're working together. You're basically opening up the pages, you're going to the same pages with other players, and you're trying to figure out where you should go. But each player has a special ability, and those abilities are going to allow them to see new numbers or do different things. And they're going to be going off on their own to try to figure out things and see things that the others can't. And we're going to be listening and trying to help them along as well. And it takes that aspect of the choose your own adventure books and puts it in a multiplayer cooperative version. Now, it's sort of aimed at sort of the younger generation. You know, it's ages 7 and up, so it's really great to play this with kids. But gamers will like it too. It's pretty light, but it is fun to kind of go through these books together and work with each other, and having each of you see some things that are different, even though you're kind of going through the same adventure together. So if you like those choose your adventure books, as you know, back in the day, you've got to check these out because it's a fun cooperative experience. Crusoe Crew.
Number 2.
My number 2 is essentially, I'd say it's like mixing up the game The Mind with Bomb Squad. This is a cooperative game where you are trying to get past different scenarios. This is a scenario-based one where there's different robots that you're going to be running, and you're going to be trying to do different things. Like the first robot is a cat, and it's on a vacuum, and you're trying to suck up all the dust bunnies. And the way it's like The Mind is that you're cooperatively playing cards, but you're programming them. And so you're going to place a card face down. Players won't know what that card does, but they will know if it moves either forward or back, or if it turns. You just won't know which way it turns or how far it moves forward or back. So players are playing cards, and you're trying to time it. Again, no communication. Kind of like The Mind, you're trying to figure out who's going to play a bunch of cards right in a row because they know what they're doing. And we're all trying to figure out, okay, we kind of know what we're trying to do in this scenario. They've played 2 cards. I'm guessing they moved 2 and then turned to the left. So if that's right, then I'll go here. You know, and then once everyone has played at least 5 cards, you can stop, you flip them over, and you just basically do what the program says. But there's so many different scenarios. There's 4 different robots that all have special abilities that work differently. This works well with families, and it works well with gamers as well. The artwork's adorable. Components are great. The sort of miniatures. The book is high quality. This is one of those sort of scenario-based games that you can play the scenarios more than once because every game's sort of a different puzzle and you have a different group that you're playing it with. Highly recommend Quirky Circuits from Plaid Hat Games.
Number 1.
My cooperative game of the year is Marvel Champions. And this is a surprise to me because I don't love Marvel, but I don't dislike it either. It's kind of a moot point for me. It's whatever. It is what it is. And even with that being said, having this be my best cooperative game says a lot because the game mechanisms in this are awesome. This is an LCG living card game from Fantasy Flight Games, which means there's a base box that comes out with 5 heroes. You know, you have Iron Man and Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk, and you're trying to essentially defeat villains. And you're going to be playing cards that will give you different abilities, and you're trying to basically, you know, defeat the villain without having their schemes get to the end. But the cool thing about this is that you have an alter ego side and you have a hero side, and you can flip back and forth once per round, and different ones will give you different benefits. And certain other cards that you have in your hand only activate when you're on one side. You're also helping each other because different minions are going to be attached to different players. You can go over there and help them defeat theirs. There's multiple different bosses that you'll be fighting, different scenarios. But even with that, there's more hero packs and scenario packs coming out. I've recently reviewed ones for Captain America, Ms. Marvel, and the Green Goblin. But this game, it is so cool. It's great solo. It's fantastic with 2 players. It's good with 3 players. It's so fun to sort of work together. You can help each other out. You can defend each other. You know, someone's low on health. I have a good defense. I'm going to go over there and defend for them. You know, things like that. This really surprised me because, again, I'm not a big Marvel fan, and just in general, it's okay to me. It's fine. I don't dislike it. But to have a game be my top game of the year in a category for a theme that I'm like, whatever, that means that if you like Marvel, you're probably going to love this. I like card games in general, and just the way that these different abilities trigger with each other. The fact that each character comes with its own sort of aspect, whether it's aggression or protection or leadership. And they're sort of built this way to start with, but you can mix and match any of these aspects with any of the other characters to have sort of this variability. Or you can even like make customized decks where even within an aspect you can add or subtract different cards and such. So wow, this game is fantastic. I can't say how much I like this, even though it's Marvel. I was really surprised. You got to check out Marvel Champions. Well, I hope this helped you learn about games that you didn't hear about before, or if you'd heard about them, learn a little bit more about them in depth. Now, as a reminder, all of the games that I've covered in this video, I've placed links below to my reviews of those if you want to learn more below me. Also, keep in mind that there's going to be plenty other end 2019 videos that I'm putting out of all different categories, top 10s, top 5s, and the easiest way to find all those is just to subscribe to me down below. Or you can easily just go to GameBoyGeek.com/2019. That's where all these videos will be popping up as they go live. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Did you miss the Game Topper 2.0 Kickstarter? Have no fear. It's not too late to get in on the ultimate gaming accessory. Convert your table into a high-quality gaming table with a fully portable Game Topper system and take advantage of some of the best 3mm premium gaming mats in the industry. New styles, new sizes, and new accessories can be yours. Upgrade every game you play by late backing now at GameToppersLLC.com.